one life, and that I share with God. There is one life, and that I share with God. There is one life, and that I share with God, share with God. There is one life, and that I share with God. There is one life, and that I share with God. Well, thank you all so much for joining me today and studying A Course in Miracles, workbook for students, and the text. We're reading from the version printed by Foundation for Inner Peace here on Saturday, June the 15th of 2024. Lesson 167. There is one life, and that I share with God. There are not different kinds of life, for life is like the truth. It does not have degrees. It is the one condition in which all that God created share. Like all His thoughts, it has no opposite. There is no death because what God created shares His life. There is no death because an opposite to God does not exist. There is no death because the Father and the Son are one. There is no death. In this world, there appears to be a state that is life's opposite, and you call it death. Yet we've learned that the idea of death takes many forms. It is the one idea which underlies all feelings that are not supremely happy. We have learned that the idea of death takes many forms. It is the one idea which underlies all feelings that are not supremely happy. It is the alarm to which you give response of any kind that is not perfect joy. All sorrow, loss, anxiety, and suffering and pain, even a little sigh of weariness, a slight discomfort, or the merest frown, acknowledge death, and thus deny you live. Boy, he sets the standard a little higher than most of us. We think we were still, as long as we're still got breath, we're alive. But he's saying, no, it doesn't work that way. You're acknowledging death if you have any feeling that's not supremely happy. It is the alarm to which you give response of any kind that is not perfect joy. All sorrow, loss, anxiety, and suffering and pain, even a little sigh of weariness, a slight discomfort, or the merest frown, acknowledge death. Can we get to the place where we don't even have the merest frown? No discomfort? Not even a weariness, no sigh of weariness? Well, that's our destiny. That's our true identity. And thus deny you live. All sorrow, loss, anxiety, and suffering and pain, even a little sigh of weariness, a slight discomfort, or the merest frown, acknowledge death, and thus deny you live. You think that death is of the body, yet it is but an idea, irrelevant to what is seen as physical. A thought is in the mind. It can be then applied as mind directs it, but its origin is where it must be changed if change occurs. Ideas leave not their source. The emphasis this course has placed on that idea is due to its centrality in our attempts to change your mind about yourself. It is the reason you can heal. It is the cause of healing. It is why you cannot die. Its truth established you as one with God. Death is the thought that you are separate from your Creator. separate from love, separate from joy, separate from peace. That's the thought of death. Death is the thought that you are separate from your Creator. It is the belief conditions change. Emotions alternate because of causes you cannot control, you did not make, and you can never change. It is the fixed belief ideas can leave their source and take on qualities the source does not contain, becoming different from their own origin, apart from it in kind as well as distance, time, and form. Death cannot come from life. Ideas remain united to their source. They can extend all that their source contains. In that they go far beyond themselves, but they cannot give birth to what was never given them. As they are made, so will their making be. As they were born, so will they then give birth. And where they come from, there will they return. The mind can think it sleeps, but this is all. It cannot change what is its waking state. It can think it sleeps, but it cannot change its waking state. It cannot make a body, nor abide within a body. What is alien to the mind does not exist, because it has no source. For mind creates all things that are, and cannot give them attributes it lacks, nor change its own eternal mindful state. It cannot make the physical. What seems to die is but the sign of mind asleep. The opposite of life can only be another form of life. As such, it can be reconciled with what created it, because it is not opposite in truth. Its form may change. It may appear to be what it is not, yet mind is mind, awake or sleeping. It is not its opposite in anything created, nor in what it seems to make when it believes it sleeps. Wow. So when you see death, you're just dreaming. You're sleeping. God creates only mind awake. God creates only mind awake. He does not sleep, and His creations cannot share what He gives not, nor make conditions which He does not share with them. The thought of death is not the opposite to thoughts of life, forever unopposed by opposites of any kind. The thoughts of God remain forever changeless, with the power to extend forever changelessly, but yet within themselves, for they are everywhere. What seems to be the opposite of life is merely sleeping. When the mind elects to be what it is not, and assume an alien power which it does not have, a foreign state it cannot enter, or a false condition not within its source, it merely seems to go to sleep a while. It dreams of time. It dreams of time, an interval in which what seems to happen never has occurred. The changes wrought are substanceless, and all events are nowhere. When the mind awakes, it but continues as it always was. Let us today be children of the truth and not deny our holy heritage. Our life is not as we imagine it. Who changes life because he shuts his eyes, or makes himself what he is not because he sleeps and sees in dreams an opposite to what he is. We will not ask for death in any form today, nor will we let imagined opposites to life abide even an instant where the thought of life eternal has been set by God Himself. His holy home we strive to keep today as He established it, and wills it be forever and forever. He is Lord of what we think today, and in His thoughts, which have no opposite, we understand there is one life, and that we share with him, with all creation, with their thoughts as well, whom he created in a unity of life that cannot separate in death and leave the source of life from where it came. We share one life because we have one source, a source from which perfection comes to us, remaining always in the holy minds which he created perfect. As we were, so are we now and will forever be. A sleeping mind must waken as it sees its own perfection, mirroring the Lord of life so perfectly it fades into what is reflected there. And now it is no more a mere reflection. It becomes the thing reflected, and the light which makes reflection possible. No vision now is needed, for the wakened mind is one that knows its source, itself, its holiness. So if you're finding anything to be discouraged about, you're dreaming. And he wants us to wake up from that dream. By doing what? By dreaming a new dream, the happy dreams of forgiveness that allows us to not just see the reflection of love, of God, of light, but actually recognize that we are the light, the love. Okay? All right. Well, let's there is one life, and that I share with God. Let's go look at light in the dream, which is section 3 of chapter 18, the passing of the dream. The light in the dream, section 3, chapter 18. While you're turning there, here's some things going on around the world today out of holidays and observances. Worldwide Day of Giving. Wow. It reminds me of remember he says, to have, give all to all. That's in the economy of God. To have, give all to all. Anyway, Worldwide Day of Giving. Fly a Kite Day, Global Wind Day, International Surfing Day, Justice for Janitors Day, Magna Carta Day. Of course, that was signed in 1215 at Runnymede in England. Mermaid Day, Day of Prayer for Law Enforcement Officers or Peace Officers. Electricity Day commemorates Ben Franklin's experiment in a lightning storm in 1752. National Hollering Contest. That's at, where's that? Speevy's Corner, North Carolina. Has the National Hollering Contest. I holler for my dog a lot. He goes out at night and likes to kind of hang around. He's a coonhound, so he goes out and I don't see him for a couple hours. And anyway, I'll be hollering for him, and he just can't seem to come in when he's having fun. Kiss-a-Wookie Day, Lobster Day. They're in the genus Homarus, and there's 800 species of Homaruses. Smile Power Day. Always good to smile. That shows you're in the spirit. You're inspired. You're doing our lesson for the day, which is there is one life, and that I share with joy. That I share with God. That I share with love. Native American Citizenship Day, and that was an act of Congress, I think. I'm not sure it was an act of Congress or a law that was made in 1924. Nature Photography Day, World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, and World Juggling Day. And then another hardy kiwi, it's an Actinidia arguta, and it is the, what's it called? The Fortyniner. The Fortyniner hardy female kiwi. And it says of the Fortyniner that, let's see what it says about it. Fortyniner hardy female kiwi, large-shouldered fruit, very pretty, large-leafed vine, ripens with Geneva and arboretum. Arboretum. Very productive and reliable. Zones 5 through 8, spaced 15 foot apart on a 6-foot wire trellis. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have here? I think we're ready to go. There is one life, and that I share with love. There is one life, and that I share with God. Light in the Dream, Chapter 18, The Passing of the Dream, Section 3, Light in the Dream. You who have spent your life in bringing truth to illusion, reality to fantasy, have walked the way of dreams. We just learned that, didn't we? For you have gone from waking to sleeping, and on to a yet deeper sleep. Each dream has led to other dreams, and every fantasy that seemed to bring a light into the darkness, but made the darkness deeper. Your goal was darkness, in which no ray of light could enter, and you sought a blackness so complete that you could hide from truth forever, in complete insanity. What you forgot was simply that God cannot destroy himself. The light is in you. Darkness can cover it, but cannot put it out. 2. As the light comes nearer you, you will rush to darkness, shrinking from the truth, sometimes retreating to the lesser forms of fear, and sometimes to stark terror. But you will advance, because your goal is the advance from fear to truth. The goal you accepted is the goal of knowledge from which you signified your willingness. Fear seems to live in darkness, and when you are afraid, you have stepped back. Let us then join quickly in an instant of light, and it will be enough to remind you that your goal is light, not darkness. 3. Truth has rushed to meet you since you called upon it. If you knew who walks beside you on the way that you have chosen, fear would be impossible. You do not know because the journey into darkness has been long and cruel, and you have gone deep into it. A little flicker of your eyelids, closed so long, has not yet been sufficient to give you confidence in yourself, so long despised. You go toward love still hating it, and terribly afraid of its judgment upon you. And you do not realize that you are not afraid of love, but only of what you have made of it. You are advancing to love's meaning, and away from all illusions in which you have surrounded it. When you retreat to the illusion, your fear increases, for there is little doubt that what you think it means is fearful. Yet what is that to us who travel surely and very swiftly away from fear? 4. You who hold your brother's hand also hold mine. For when you joined each other, you were not alone. Do you believe that I would leave you in the darkness that you agreed to leave with me? In your relationship is this world's light. In your relationship is this world's light. And fear must disappear before you now. Be tempted not to snatch away the gift of faith you offered to your brother. You will succeed only in frightening yourself. Be tempted not to snatch away the gift of faith you offered to your brother. Believe in your brother. See the good in him. Have faith in him, that he's doing his part perfectly, always, no matter what he's doing. Even if you don't particularly like it from an ego perspective. Learn to say, well, it must be God's will for me right now because it's occurring. It's occurring. You will succeed only in frightening yourself. He says, be tempted not to snatch away the gift of faith you offered to your brother. You will succeed only in frightening yourself. The gift is given forever, for God himself received it. You cannot take it back. You have accepted God. The holiness of your relationship is established in heaven. You do not understand what you accepted, but remember that your understanding is not necessary. We don't have to understand it. Matter of fact, that's our very first lesson in A Course in Miracles. I do not know what anything is for. I don't know what anything means. We got to be really good at being able to say, well, I don't know. I don't need to know. I trust in one who knows everything. And that you can do, that little willingness. All that was necessary was merely the wish to understand. That wish was the desire to be holy. The will of God is granted you, for you desire the only thing that you ever had or ever were. 5. Each instant that we spend together will teach you that this goal is possible and will strengthen your desire to reach it. And in your desire lies its accomplishment. Your desire is now in complete accord with all the power of the Holy Spirit's will. No little faltering footsteps that you may take can separate your desire from His will and from His strength. I hold your hand as surely as you agreed to take your brother's. You will not separate, for I stand with you and walk with you in your advance to truth. And where we go, we carry God with us. 6. In your relationship, you have joined with me in bringing heaven to the Son of God, who hid in darkness. You have been willing to bring the darkness to light, and this willingness has given strength to everyone who would remain in darkness. Those who would see will see, and they will join with me in carrying their light into the darkness, when the darkness in them is offered to the light and is removed forever. My need for you, joined with me in the holy light of your relationship, is your need for salvation. Would I not give you what you gave to me? For when you joined your brother, you answered me. Wow. We're going to get to heaven by seeing God in our brothers and sisters. See the Christ. You who are now the bringer of salvation have the function of bringing light to darkness. The darkness in you has been brought to light. Carry it back to darkness from the holy instant to which you brought it. We are made whole in our desire to make whole. We are made whole in our desire to make whole. Let not time worry you, for all the fear that you and your brother experience is really past. Time has been readjusted to help us do together what your separate pasts would hinder. You have gone past fear, for no two minds can join in the desire for love without love's joining them. Wow, catch that. You have gone past fear, for no two minds can join in the desire for love or the desire for God without love's joining them or without God joining them. And the last paragraph, finish this section, 8. Not one light in heaven but goes with you. Not one ray that shines forever in the mind of God but shines on you. Heaven is joined with you in your advance to heaven. When such great lights have joined with you to give the little spark of your desire the power of God Himself, can you remain in darkness? You and your brother are coming home together after a long and meaningless journey that you undertook apart and that led nowhere. We have found your brother, and you will light each other's way. And from this light will the great rays extend back into darkness and forward unto God, to shine away the past and so make room for His eternal presence, in which everything is radiant in the light. Again on that last sentence. And from this light will the great rays extend back into darkness and forward unto God, to shine away the past, and so make room for all His eternal presence, in which everything is radiant in the light. Okay. Well, be sure to do your at least 5 minutes morning and evening. 15 would be better. And then every hour of the day, give God thanks at the top of the hour, or at least sometime during the hour. Ask for guidance and tell yourself, there is one life, and that I share with God. There is one life, and that I share with God, share with God. There is one life, and that I share with love, share with love. There is one life, and that I share with God. There is one life, and that I share with God, share with God. There is one life, and that I share with God. There is no death, because an opposite to God does not exist, does not exist. Death is the thought that you are separate from your Creator. There is one life, and that I share with God. There is one life, and that I share with happiness. There is one life, and that I share with joy, peace, God. There is one life, and that I share with God, share with God. There is one life, and that I share with God, share with God. There is one life, and that I share with God, share with God. Thank you all so much for joining me in studying this today. What a beautiful lesson. There is one life, and that I share with love, with everyone. And we're finding that we awake from the dream that we're dead. Remember what he says here? When you're not supremely happy, all sorrow, loss, anxiety, and suffering and pain, even a little sigh of weariness, a slight discomfort, or the merest frown, acknowledge death. Well, let's not acknowledge death. And let's do the Inuit language, Inuktitut. It's Saimaniq. Saimaniq is peace. There is one life, and that I share with God. We'll do it again since I didn't have it. And it is in Siberia also, the Inuits. So in Inuktitut, Saimaniq. There is one life, and that I share with God. Saimaniq.